The movers had barely left when Lily noticed the envelope. It was perched neatly on their new mailbox, cream-colored, sealed with a wax insignia shaped like a bat. "Welcome to Hollow Street," it read in elegant cursive. She smiled, small-town charm, she thought. After years in the city, this old neighborhood felt like the perfect escape. Quiet, tree-lined streets, vintage houses with ivy-covered walls, and neighbors who waved from porches as if they'd known you forever. By evening, the sky had turned a deep orange. Her husband, Mark, was unpacking kitchen boxes when a knock echoed through the hallway. Standing outside were two smiling figures, an older couple, both dressed immaculately. "Good evening. You must be the new folks in number 12, the woman said, her voice smooth as silk. "I'm Mrs. Hawthorne, and this is my husband, Victor. We're hosting our annual Halloween party tomorrow night. Everyone in the neighborhood comes." Mark, relieved to meet friendly faces, shook their hands. Their skin was cold, almost icy. Lily noticed it but brushed it off. Maybe the autumn air. Mrs. Hawthorne handed her a black invitation card with gold trim. "Come hungry," it said at the bottom, followed by a strange symbol that looked like intertwined fangs. After they left, the house felt oddly still. Mark went back to unpacking, humming to himself, but Lily couldn't shake a faint unease. The Hawthorne's eyes had seemed too bright, too fixed, and the way Mrs. Hawthorne had stared at her neck, just for a moment, it had sent a chill through her. The next day, the whole street transformed. Pumpkins lined the sidewalks, candles flickered behind curtained windows, and an almost theatrical energy filled the air. Every neighbor they passed smiled a little too wide, waved a little too perfectly. "You'll love tonight," said one man trimming his hedges, his teeth unusually sharp beneath the sunlight. "The Hawthornes throw the best parties." As night fell, Lily put on her costume, a simple witch's dress. Mark, wearing a vampire cape for fun, laughed at his reflection. "Maybe we'll fit right in." She smiled, but her stomach twisted. The invitation's words echoed in her head. "Come hungry." When they stepped outside, fog had crept along the pavement. The Hawthorne's mansion at the end of the street blazed with candlelight. Dozens of guests stood outside, pale-faced and elegant, holding crystal glasses filled with a thick, red liquid that Lily assumed was wine. Mrs. Hawthorne greeted them with open arms. "We're so thrilled you could join us," she said, her eyes glinting like glass. "You're just in time for the feast." As they entered, the door closed behind them with a heavy click. The scent of iron filled the air, masked by perfume and roses. Lily froze. On the grand table ahead, dozens of goblets shimmered red in the candlelight, and in the reflection of one, she swore she saw a face that wasn't her own. The mansion's foyer was draped in velvet and candlelight, every shadow flickering as if alive. Crystal chandeliers glimmered above guests in lavish costumes. Vintage gowns, tuxedos, and masks that looked far too realistic. Lily clutched Mark's arm, whispering, "These people really go all out for Halloween." He nodded, impressed, though his smile faltered when he noticed the portraits lining the walls. Every painting showed pale-faced men and women dressed in the same fashion as the guests, but their eyes were too sharp, their smiles too precise. The strangest thing, each portrait bore the same date carved below it, October 31st. The years changed, but the faces didn't age. A butler appeared, moving silently across the floor. "Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Hale," he said smoothly, as if he'd known their names forever. "Your seats are waiting." He led them through a corridor heavy with incense and whispers. Guests turned as they passed, each gaze lingering a moment too long, as if studying their pulse through their skin. They entered a massive dining room. The table stretched endlessly, covered with black silk and golden plates. Goblets shimmered with that same crimson liquid. The scent was thicker here, metallic, sweet, almost intoxicating. Mrs. Hawthorne stood at the head of the table. "My friends," she announced, her voice echoing like a song. "Tonight, we welcome our newest residents. Fresh faces and fresh blood to Hollow Street." Laughter rippled through the crowd, elegant but sharp, like glass breaking. Lily chuckled nervously, assuming it was a Halloween joke. Mark smiled politely, but his hand trembled. As dinner began, the food was served: rare meats, dark sauces, fruits that bled when sliced. Lily pushed her plate away, appetite gone. She leaned toward Mark. "This all feels off," she whispered. "Like they're watching us." "They are," he murmured, eyes flicking to the far end of the table. A man in a black coat sat motionless, his gaze fixed on them. His pupils were slit like a cat's. When Lily blinked, he was gone. Music swelled, haunting violins, slow and ancient. Couples drifted to the dance floor. Mrs. Hawthorne approached Lily, her step silent. "You're not enjoying the meal?" she asked softly. "It's lovely," Lily lied. Mrs. Hawthorne smiled. "No matter. The night's real flavor is yet to come." Mark excused himself, saying he needed air. Lily followed moments later, pushing through a side hallway. The laughter and music faded behind her. She turned a corner and froze. The room ahead was filled with portraits again. But these were different. They weren't painted. They were photographs. Dozens of them. Families, couples, children. All smiling. All labeled with the same phrase in neat handwriting. "Guests of the Hawthorns. October 31st. Her breath hitched. Every face was unfamiliar except one. Near the bottom, a faded photo showed a man wearing the same costume Mark had on tonight. His eyes were terrified. His neck bore 2 small punctures. Behind her, a soft voice whispered, "We keep memories of everyone who's joined our little family." Lily turned, and Mrs. Hawthorne stood inches away, eyes glowing faintly red. Lily's pulse pounded in her ears. She stumbled back, nearly tripping over a carpet corner, her voice trembling. What are you talking about?" Mrs. Hawthorne tilted her head, that eerie smile widening. "You're quite lovely, my dear. It's rare to find such warmth still running beneath the skin. Hollow Street chooses its residents carefully." Before Lily could answer, the candle flames in the hallway flickered. Then every light in the house dimmed. A low, resonant hum echoed through the walls, like the mansion itself was exhaling. Shadows moved, stretching unnaturally long, creeping across the floor. Mrs. Hawthorne's eyes gleamed brighter. "Dinner is over. The celebration begins." Lily spun and ran. Her shoes clacked across the marble as she bolted toward the front door. The handle was cold beneath her hand, but when she twisted it, nothing happened. Locked. She pulled harder. Nothing. The wood felt warm, like it was breathing. She screamed for Mark. Her voice bounced through the halls, swallowed by the velvet and smoke. Footsteps approached, slow, deliberate. A man emerged from the shadows, smiling. "You shouldn't wander," he said, his fangs catching the light as he spoke. His breath smelled of rust and roses. Lily grabbed a nearby candlestick, holding it like a weapon. "Stay away." The man only chuckled, stepping closer. "You think we'd let you leave so soon? The night is young, and you're still beating." Before he could move again, she swung. The metal struck his temple, and he fell back with a hiss. She ran, heart hammering, through the corridors that seemed to twist and rearrange themselves. The paintings on the walls had changed, faces now watching, smiling wider, their eyes following her every move. She burst into the ballroom again. The guests were gone. The long table was empty except for a few half-drained goblets, their contents congealing in the candlelight. The music still played faintly from nowhere, the same haunting violin tune, looping endlessly. "Mark!" she cried again, voice cracking. A faint groan answered her, from upstairs. She raced up the grand staircase, calling his name. At the top, a hallway stretched in both directions, lined with doors. She opened one, a dark study, another, a dusty bedroom. Then, from the last door, she heard it again. A soft, desperate whisper. "Lily!" She pushed it open. Mark sat slumped in a chair, pale and shaking. His shirt collar was torn, and twin puncture marks gleamed faintly on his neck. His lips were dry, his eyes glassy. "Lily," he gasped. We need to get out now. She knelt beside him, tears filling her eyes. We will, I promise. Just hold on. A cold hand landed on her shoulder. She turned and saw Victor Hawthorne standing in the doorway, his smile razor-sharp. He's already part of us, my dear. But don't despair. You'll join him soon enough. Before she could move, the lights flickered again, and the entire room dissolved into darkness. Darkness swallowed everything. Lily's breathing echoed in her ears, shallow and fast. Then, one by one, candles ignited along the walls. Not by flame, but as if lit by unseen hands. She was no longer in the same room. The walls looked older now, cracked, rotting, lined with faded wallpaper that peeled like dead skin. The mansion had changed, revealing its true form. "Where's Mark?" she whispered into the silence. From the shadows, a voice answered, soft, calm, familiar. "He's safe for now." Mrs. Hawthorne stepped into view, no longer the elegant hostess but something ancient. Her skin ghost pale, her veins visible like dark rivers beneath. Her smile no longer reached her eyes. "This place shows you what it really is when the feast begins." "The feast?" Lily spat. "You mean murder?" Mrs. Hawthorne sighed, almost pitying. "You misunderstand. We don't kill. We preserve." Hollow Street was built on a promise. A pact sealed with blood generations ago. Those who move here never leave. Their lives feed this place. Their memories keep it alive. Lily backed away, shaking her head. "You're insane." "Am I?" Mrs. Hawthorne tilted her head. "Look outside." A nearby window rattled, and Lily glanced through it. Her heart froze. Beyond the glass, she didn't see the peaceful neighborhood she remembered. Just endless fog, stretching forever. Houses hovered like ghosts in the mist, their windows flickering with faint candlelight. She could see faint silhouettes inside. People repeating the same gestures, same smiles, like puppets trapped in an endless loop. Mrs. Hawthorne's voice was a whisper behind her. "Every Halloween, we renew the pact. One couple, one sacrifice. In exchange, Hollow Street stays hidden from the world, and we remain eternal." Lily turned, fury igniting. "You'll never take us." The older woman's grin widened, revealing her fangs in full. "My dear, you're already halfway ours. Haven't you noticed the bite on your husband's neck? He's feeling the pull even now." Something inside Lily snapped. She lunged for the candlestick she dropped earlier, gripping it like a blade. Mrs. Hawthorne laughed softly, unfazed. "Fight if you wish, but the house listens to me." Suddenly, the floor trembled. The wallpaper bled, dark stains spreading across it. The portraits along the hallway began to twitch, the faces inside them moving, mouths opening, whispering her name. "Laya Lay." She ran again, heart pounding. Doors slammed shut behind her, one after another, as though the mansion itself was her enemy. Somewhere far below, she heard a deep, rhythmic thumping, like a heartbeat inside the walls. She found herself in a grand library, dust-filled, lined with shelves of crumbling books. On the center table lay a leather-bound tome, its cover marked with the same symbol from their invitation. Intertwined fangs. Her shaking hands opened it. Pages of names filled the book, written in blood-red ink. Every entry had the same date, October 31st. At the very bottom, freshly written, two names glowed faintly. Mark Hale, Lily Hale. Her stomach turned. A drop of red ink slid down the page, except it wasn't ink. It was blood. Behind her, the door creaked open, and Victor Hawthorne's voice filled the room. "Midnight approaches," he murmured. "Time to sign the pact properly." The clock in the distance struck 11. Its echo rolled through the mansion like thunder. Lily slammed the blood-soaked ledger shut, her hands trembling. "You'll never make me part of this," she whispered, voice raw. Victor Hawthorne stood in the doorway, tall and still, his face carved in marble calm. "You already are," he said softly. "The pact is sealed the moment you enter Hollow Street. The ink just makes it official." Lily backed toward the fireplace, eyes darting for anything sharp, anything that could give her a chance. You can't keep people here forever. Victor smiled faintly. Oh, but we can. Time doesn't move here like it does in your world. Those who dine with us never truly leave. Their bodies fade, but their essence feeds the street. That's how we survive. He stepped closer. She felt the cold radiating off him, the scent of old earth and metal. You and your husband were chosen carefully. Fresh blood, strong hearts. A sudden voice broke the tension. Marks. From the hall. Lily, run. He stumbled into the room, pale and trembling, but his eyes still human. She rushed to him, holding him upright. His pulse was weak but there. We can still get out, she whispered. Victor's grin widened, revealing his fangs. You'll only die tired. Lily's hand brushed against the fireplace mantel, her fingers closing around an old iron poker. She swung. The metal connected with Victor's face. He staggered back, hissing, smoke rising from where it struck his skin. Iron burns them, she realized. Run, she yelled. They tore through the hall, past the whispering portraits and flickering candles. The walls groaned, twisting as if alive, trying to block their way. The fog outside thickened, pressing against the windows like a living thing. Where are we going? Mark gasped. The front door, she said. We burn the book, and we get out before midnight. They reached the foyer. The door still wouldn't budge. It pulsed beneath her hands, warm and breathing like flesh. Then she remembered Mrs. Hawthorne's words. The house listens to me. Lily turned back toward the library. We don't need to escape it, she said, eyes blazing. We destroy it. They ran back to the room. Victor's footsteps echoed somewhere behind, slow and patient. Lily snatched the ledger from the table and hurled it into the fireplace. The flames rose instantly, turning blue, then black. The air thickened with the smell of burning blood and dust. The mansion screamed. Every light shattered, glass raining down. The walls cracked open, revealing veins pulsing with red light. Mrs. Hawthorne appeared in the doorway, her face melting between beauty and monster. You foolish girl, she shrieked. You've damned us all. Lily grabbed Mark's hand. Good. The fire exploded outward, consuming everything in sight. Portraits burned, curtains turned to ash, and the floor split open beneath them. The whole mansion roared like a dying beast. Victor's voice bellowed from the smoke. You can't destroy what's eternal. Lily screamed back. Then I'll end eternity. She dragged Mark through the collapsing hall as the flames swallowed the house. Somewhere above them, the clock struck 12, and Hollow Street began to disappear. The fire consumed everything. Smoke rolled like black waves, choking the air as the mansion's bones cracked and split. Lily pulled Mark through a collapsing doorway, both of them coughing, eyes burning. The floor beneath their feet glowed red-hot, the wood turning to ash faster than they could run. Keep moving, she shouted over the roar. Don't stop. They reached the grand hall, or what was left of it. Chandeliers rained shards of crystal. The portraits screamed silently as their faces melted into dripping colors. The entire house seemed to twist in agony, walls bending, doors breathing, ceilings collapsing inward. Victor appeared through the smoke, half-burned, his flesh glowing like embers. His eyes burned brighter than the flames. You think you can destroy Hollow Street? It was here long before you, before me, before anyone. His voice crackled deeper than human. Lily tightened her grip on the iron poker, the only thing still in her hand. Then let it end with me. Victor lunged. She swung. The poker plunged straight through his chest. For a second, his face went blank. Then the fire burst through the wound, spreading across his body like living light. He screamed, the sound splitting the air, and collapsed into a heap of ash that blew away with the heat. Mark grabbed her arm. Lily, the door, look! Through the smoke, she saw it, the front door wide open. Beyond it, instead of fog, there was night sky, stars, wind, real air. They ran, hearts hammering. Just as they crossed the threshold, a wave of heat exploded behind them. The mansion collapsed in on itself, sucked downward into a pit of glowing embers. When Lily looked back, there was nothing left but a field of ashes and silence. The houses around Hollow Street had vanished. The entire neighborhood was gone. Only darkness remained. They stumbled through the trees until dawn began to rise. The sun's warmth felt like a miracle. Mark fell to his knees, exhausted, his skin pale but still human. She hugged him, crying into his shoulder. "It's over," she whispered. "It's really over." But somewhere behind them, a faint whisper carried through the wind. "Come hungry." Lily froze. The words echoed like a ghost in her mind. "Did you hear that?" Mark frowned. "Hear what?" She turned. For a second, she saw movement. A shape in the smoke, faint and watching. A figure with glowing eyes. Then it was gone. They made it back to town by sunrise. A passing driver stopped, shocked to see them walking barefoot along the empty road. "You two okay?" he asked. "Where'd you come from?" Lily opened her mouth to answer, but when she looked behind them, the street sign at the fork said Hollow Street, gleaming fresh as if newly placed. She blinked. It hadn't been there a moment ago. That night, after a hospital check and a long silence, Lily sat beside Mark's bed. His color was returning. He smiled faintly and drifted to sleep. She stared out the window, watching the moon rise. In the reflection of the glass, for just a heartbeat, she saw her own eyes shimmer red. Her breath caught. She touched her neck. 2 faint puncture marks pulsed beneath her skin. Somewhere, miles away, in the ashes of a burned mansion, a new envelope appeared on a lonely mailbox. "Welcome to Hollow Street."